Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. I'll try to raise my voice. I know there is a lot of ambient noise around, but it's a pleasure being with you here. I'd like to start off my talk by first thanking His Excellency Majid for his continuous support to the building and construction ecosystem. And I would also like to thank the Riyadh Exhibitions Company for organizing this great event, which plays a major role in connecting leading industry players. And I'm honored here today speaking with you all. For those of you who didn't hear it already, my name is Mohammed Al-Tayyab. I am currently the Program Director of the Oil Sustainability Program. I think some of you may be wondering, and there may be question marks on your head, what is a company that's focused on oil, hydrocarbons, doing in an event that is focused on building and construction, especially that is in the presence of many esteemed organizers, companies, and leaders showcasing what new building technologies are there. Well, the reality is we as a program have a big passion and interest in supporting the energy transition by also supporting what we refer to as the material transition as well that comes along with it. And I'd like to give you a little perspective about our program. So we are a program that falls under the Supreme Committee of Hydrocarbon Affairs that is headed by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. We are part of the Ministry of Energy Ecosystem, or the energy ecosystem as we'd like to call it, through our supervisory committee that is chaired by His Royal Highness the Minister of Energy, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman. We have 17 supervisory committee entities represented on our program governance. This includes major stakeholders like Saudi Aramco, SABIC, the Public Investment Fund, and other ministries and relevant agencies that have an intersection with the energy ecosystem. Of course, as a program, we have a focus on three main sectors. The biggest sector of focus for us is what we refer to as the material sector, and that's why we are here today. But we also have activities in transportation, where we're focusing also on addressing the climate challenges that come from road transportation, aviation, and maritime. And we also have a sector that's focused on utilities. And one big initiative under that that's also connected to the Middle East Green Initiative is a clean cooking solution that we're availing to all over the world that will reduce deforestation and cutting trees to generate coal and have a cleaner alternative. So I think what I want to share with you today is our perspective. We are a national program, but we have a global mandate. So globally, the world is transitioning towards more sustainable sources of energy. And this ensures that the new energy sources are being utilized in a more efficient and sustainable and cost-effective manner. We believe that this should also include hydrocarbons, and mainly oil. And our program team members are working very actively to make sure that this transition incorporates hydrocarbons or oil in the energy mix. Hydrocarbons are not just a reliable source of energy to the world. As most of you are probably aware, hydrocarbons are also a big source for petrochemicals that go into the construction and materials sector. We believe that this will be the catalyst for the global material transition that will go in parallel with the energy transition. The program works on supporting transformational opportunities in building and materials that drive a more sustainable and economically efficient transition in the sector. A few days ago, I was in Sharm el-Sheikh attending discussions around climate change at COP27 also participating in the Saudi Green Initiative and the Middle East Green Initiative efforts. And there was a huge interest in this new wave of opportunity for substituting materials that have an environmental footprint that probably people are not aware of. These are areas where we can improve the sustainability footprint in sectors that are in cement, concrete, glass, wood, steel, aluminum, etc. We will work with all of our stakeholders to create opportunities where polymer-based materials are being deployed as a substitute where it makes sense. So our ambition is not to completely substitute our materials in the sectors at hand. We want to choose the sectors and the applications where there is an advantage for using the polymer materials, and we work with our stakeholders very closely to make sure we identify that. One thing I want to highlight is what are the material opportunities that our team is really actively working on. We have proven to our stakeholders, and these are the major projects within the kingdom, and sometimes these are projects outside the kingdom, of the superior advantages that our polymer-based materials have versus conventional materials. I want to shed some light on some of those advantages for this kind audience's attention. First of all, polymer-based construction materials are corrosion resistant. They have lower maintenance cost, energy efficient. They're lighter in weight. So this is an example I always like to talk about when you are transporting steel versus polymer into a construction site. If you understand the weight advantage from hauling a material that's much heavier than the other, you will consume less fuel, therefore you will emit less emissions while you're going through this process. And this is an example that I continue to cite. These materials are much more durable, so we want to change how oil is being used from the traditional ways of combusting it to produce energy to creating these new materials that are more durable. So the idea is not to focus on the single-use plastic approach. The idea is to identify applications where these hydrocarbon or polymer-based materials and in durable applications where individuals will probably not see them. These will be big structures like bridges, buildings, roads, the list goes on. So we want to capture this, this carbon before it gets emitted and embedded in the applications that we are deriving at. And one last thing, if we are comparing some of the polymer-based materials that we are working on within the program with the conventional materials, there's a very big advantage that we really don't talk about, which is the service life. Some of the materials that are conventional suffer from corrosion, depending if it's on a coastal area or not. There needs to be some replacement. There's a menu of things or challenges that can be faced. We believe that our solutions address all of those gaps. Polymer-based construction materials are not limited to utility and infrastructure applications like pipes and structural beams and insulations. They're extremely versatile, extremely malleable, and they meet high quality engineering design standards, both commercially and for industrial uses. I want to cite a few examples. So if you think about an oil and gas application where there's a big push, for example, from our colleagues in Saudi Aramco on non-metallic pipelines utilization in oil and gas, why can't we take that capability and translate it into other applications that are beyond oil and gas? For example, like lighting poles that can be polymer-based instead of wood or aluminum, railing systems, flooring tiles, window frames. There is a huge opportunity for this substitution play, and this is what we're working on. In other applications that polymers can be used, we have proof that you have improvements in operational efficiency where the entire value chain is optimized. So this is from the production to the transport to the installation. We are seeing a lot of advantages, and now a lot of the construction companies have started seeing some of these advantages because there are very strict project timelines that need to be met, and the materials that we've identified cut time, cut emissions, and if you consider the total life cycle cost of the material versus conventional, the polymer has a higher advantage because the service life is 100 plus years. I want to also take this opportunity for those of you who are with us here today and people who are watching us from the sites to come and visit the Oil Sustainability Program booth. We are exhibiting real samples that you can touch and feel and carry. I'd love for you guys to try and carry a steel pipe and then try to carry the polymer pipe and tell me which one is lighter and easier to hold. I think it's very important that we highlight to everybody here that these materials are, not in our imagination. These materials are available. They are being manufactured in the kingdom. We also think that there is a big opportunity for localization to occur if we do this the right way while we're engaging with our other stakeholders on this front. Our team works with both the supply and demand side to address the challenges across the value chain. This work includes even the standards and technical regulations that need to come in place to increase the adoption and the further deployment of some of these materials. There's also a question on the raw material supply. What are the export opportunities? And how can we collectively create the right awareness of the importance of adopting these materials and the advantages that they have? And you'll also see that we have a very active policy and awareness team that work tirelessly to try and shift the mindset of everybody. So this is really part of our mantra as an organization. We also have a focus on research and technology innovation. So we work with research institutions, companies to try and address the pain points and try to make sure that if there is a challenge in terms of a specific material being deployed at scale, what are the technical issues and how we can work with the stakeholders that we have to address them. I think one thing that's very important to highlight, we as a program will not be able to successfully do this on our own. We need the collaboration of every stakeholder, whether you're a company, whether you're a country, whether you're an individual, whether you're somebody who's passionate about the material space. And the mindset is we're starting this from Saudi Arabia with real examples of deployment in the kingdom, but what our real ambition is to take this to different parts of the world where there is the global impact. When we work with a stakeholder, we create a win-win situation. We don't want to force anybody to work with us if they are not convinced of what we are trying to do. And most importantly, if we zoom in on how our program is aligned with the Kingdom's vision and transforming the energy sector from the conventional way of doing business to this new energy transition that will incorporate material transition, I think we will have a great opportunity to create a lot of value for everybody involved. With this, I'd like to thank you all, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you all to our booth. Thank you.
Thank you.